Hey everyone, Stormy Strike here. Yes, it is that time again for my BreyerFest Surprise Horse speculation video. First off, a couple quick disclaimers. I do not own any of the following photos in this video, and they belong to their respective owners. These are all photos either from Breyer or the Identifier Breyer website. I also do not actually know what the BreyerFest Surprise Horse model will be. This is just my educated guess based on previous Breyer and BreyerFest patterns. If you've seen my other previous BreyerFest Surprise Horse prediction videos, this one will be in a similar fashion to those other ones. So the first time I did this prediction video in 2015, I actually guessed the correct mold of Lonesome Glory. In 2016, my top mold guess was incorrect, but my guess of the Esprit mold was in my top 6 mold guess. So let's get going on predicting what the mold will be. First off, we have to figure out what molds it probably won't be. We can first rule out all the molds that have already been BreyerFest Gambler's Choice models. This then rules out all the following molds. The Quarter Horse Gelding, which was used in 2009. There was no Surprise Horse special run at BreyerFest in 2010. Ethereal, used in 2011. Flash, used in 2012. Roxy in 2013, Nakota in 2014, Lonesome Glory in 2015, and Esprit in 2016. I feel like we can also assume that the Surprise Horse isn't going to be on a mold that's already being used as a BreyerFest 2017 model. That means that this eliminates the Marwari mold, the Icelandic mold, Destado, True North, Paso Fino, Cleveland Bay, Jim Twist, Rejoice, Allegro, Geronimo, Shenandoah, Yasmin, the Semi-Rearing Mustang, Bluegrass Bandit, and the Shetland Pony. Now I know in my other 2 previous BreyerFest Surprise Horse prediction videos, I also eliminated molds that were used as special run models in the previous years. But I'm not going to be doing that again this time because I feel that Breyer might not stay true to that pattern, especially considering things like the fact that they've used the Bluegrass Bandit mold as a BreyerFest store special for the 3rd time, and that they are using the True North mold twice this year as a prize model and a raffle model. The Destado mold is being used as a raffle model this year, even though it was used last year as a store special. This is why I'm hesitant to eliminate any particular mold, just because it was used as a special run last year. Okay, so now we have a nice handful of molds eliminated, but there is still a lot of possibilities. Another aspect about the Surprise Horse that I'm going to assume is that it will be on a fairly well-liked, popular mold, and is likely not a very vintage mold, although there are some I wouldn't rule out completely. Another thing I'm going to assume is that it will be on a traditional horse model, not any other kinds of animals like dogs or donkeys. And I'm also assuming it's not going to be a standalone foal, although it could possibly be a foal with another horse if the Surprise Horse ends up being a set of like a mare and a foal, but we still won't really be looking at the different foal molds, even if it is that case. So now I'm going to go through the entire list of Breyer traditional molds and start picking out the ones that I believe are the most likely candidates as the Surprise Horse. Alright, so let's take a look at the first list of models we have here. So there's really none so far on this little first list that stand out to me as being really big possibilities of being the Surprise Horse. You can see I already ruled out all the foals and also the little miniature horse and also Alborozo. And I definitely eliminated out the Marwari mold. The only molds I could maybe see the Bollywood Surprise being is possibly the American Saddlebred Stallion or the Missouri Foxtrotter, but I didn't add these to my top possibilities because I just kind of don't really see them being used for some reason. But that doesn't mean they aren't actually still possibilities for the Surprise Horse this year. On the second page here, I have a couple more that I ruled out, and there's also 2 that I have as strong possibilities. The Andalusian Mare is also kind of a possibility, but because she was used last year as a special run, I'm not feeling super confident in the idea that she'll be used again this year. The same goes with the Mustang Mare or Forever Siege. Now, the same could actually be said for the Arabian Mare, or aka Make-A-Wish, Just a Dream, or Oasis, whatever you want to call the mold. But the reason why I have this highlighted is because she is such a popular mold. I think she could actually be a pretty good possibility for the Surprise Horse this year, despite the fact that she was used as a special run last year as the S Just a Dream version of this mold. Now onto the third page here. Now, as you can see, there's quite a few that aren't eliminated, like Newsworthy, Othello, and the Peruvian Paso. But I don't really personally feel like these are strong possibilities because they don't really fit the theme at all. I feel like Newsworthy is just kind of not right. Othello's a draft horse, and I just feel like they won't use a draft horse as a surprise horse for this year's theme. And the Peruvian Paso, I just feel like he's not popular enough really to fit that either. However, I do think Ashquire is a good possibility, and that is why I'm adding him to my list of top possibility molds, because I think his breed that fits the theme well, and his position does too. He's got kind of that little Bollywood flair to him. On to the fourth page. The only strong possibility I have on here is the Proud Arabian Mare, but even that I'm not sure because I don't know what the mold rights are for her right now. I know she was used as a Vintage Club model, I believe, last year, which is really cool, but I don't know if that means they are allowed to bring this model back into a bigger run, like being a special run or a regular run or anything like that. So while I think she's a possibility just in the fact that she is a really nice mold, she kind of fits the theme, I feel like, I don't know if she will be all that possible. Depends on what rights Breyer has for using that mold right now. I don't even know the whole story of that, so I'm not going to get into that. But I do not see her as being my top choice, but I'm just going to kind of add her to my list of possibilities, though, because I think she's kind of good if Breyer has the rights to use her mold as a special run. Now onto the fifth page. I don't have models like the Proud Arabian Stallion or the Cantering Welsh Pony as super strong possibilities because I just don't think they're popular enough molds to qualify, and they're also a little bit older. I know Pam is a bit older mold too, but I think she's a bit more popular than some of these older vintage molds, and that is why I don't see them being used as the surprise horse. Cigar is a newer mold. I would say is a possibility, maybe. But I kind of don't really see him being used. I just feel like he doesn't fit the theme very well of this year's BreyerFest. Now I did include Rain as actually one of the molds I think is kind of a good possibility. And part of the reason is not just because she's kind of got that dancing look, possibly fitting the Bollywood theme. Like, she's got that kind of Bollywood sass, I feel like. I don't know if she's really all that popular. In some ways I think she is, just it depends on the collector that she's popular with. But the other reason I think she's maybe a possibility is because of the fact of Spirit Riding Free coming out. Thought maybe they're going to actually use her mold. Maybe again, besides just being a model for Chico Linda, maybe they'll actually use the mold again in kind of spirit of the Spirit Riding Free coming out. But I'm not really sure on that, and I don't know when they planned for the BreyerFest special run, if they knew already yet or not that they were going to be having a partnership with Spirit Riding Free yet. On the sixth page here, I actually have two molds I think are pretty good possibilities. I have the Connemara Mare mold, or also called the Creole mold, and also the Ruffian mold, as highlighted here in green. I think the Creole mold is a possibility because she's got that kind of sass, I think, that maybe fits the theme of Bollywood surprise. She was used as a special run fairly recently, however, in 2015. The Ruffian mold has actually not been used as a BreyerFest special run since 2007, which was 10 years ago. So I think it's a possibility that they could bring her back as the surprise horse this year. On the seventh page here, the only one that I have marked as a good possibility is Sorlano. I'm really sorry. I've been collecting Breyers how long, and I feel like I still can't pronounce some of these molds' names right. But the reason why I think this mold is a possibility is because it kind of feels like a Bollywood-esque model to me. It's kind of refined in a way, so maybe it's not as dancing, but I feel like it has an elegance to this mold that would be really nice if it was the surprise horse. This mold has also not really been used as a BreyerFest special run in a long time. It was used as a store special in 2015, but it hasn't actually been used as a special run since 2008. Now on the 8th page here, I actually don't have any molds marked down as ones I think are strong possibilities. In fact, I have crossed off most of them for either being used already as a mold or as just being a mold that's too old or unpopular to be used. The only one I'd say maybe is a possibility is the Fell Pony, but I feel like due to her size, unless she was in a set with another horse, I don't think they would want to use her as the Bollywood surprise model. On the 9th page here, there's actually a couple of possibilities I have marked down. First off is Giselle, who is actually one of my top predictions for the surprise horse last year. The reason I'm bringing up her again is for the same reasons, that she hasn't really been used much. She's a really nice mold. I feel like she could maybe fit the theme, and I feel like they also just haven't really used her a whole bunch. But actually, thinking about it again, I'm not really so sure that she would be a big possibility since she's being used as the Chesapeake Chase, or whatever it's called, the Chesapeake special model that they're doing this year for like the Collector Club special little retreat thing. So I don't think she's actually maybe that strong as a possibility. Now that I think about it, she is probably actually not one of my top possibilities. If anything, I think I would even choose the American Saddlebred mold over her. So I'm going to change that a little bit when I show all of my top mold predictions. Now also on this page is the Show Jumping Warm Blood. I think this is a possibility because it's a nice mold, it's popular. I feel like it could possibly fit the theme. It's pretty diverse in the fact that I think it could actually kind of fit a lot of different like BreyerFest themes. So it's kind of one that I feel like is always kind of a possibility for the surprise horse unless it's already been used as a special run for that year. So that's why I have him up there as well, just because I think he's a pretty well diversified mold that he'd be good for a lot of these kind of BreyerFest surprise horses. Now I was actually going to have Silver Martyr as one of my top possibilities, which is why the thing is a little messed up looking around him. But I changed my mind because thinking about it, I don't think he is one of the higher possibilities. Even though he's a very popular mold, he's kind of great for fitting a lot of the different like themes of like BreyerFest, different things. Like, he's just a great mold all around for those kinds of things. But he was used last year as a special run, and it just came out again this year as a limited edition as Liberty. So I'm kind of feeling like he's not as likely because of that. Although he's still like not completely ruled out. I feel like they could possibly do him. But I just don't feel like he's nearly as likely as some of the other molds. I have Smart Chicolina or Smarty Jones marked as top possibilities because, well, they are newer molds. I just don't really feel like they fit the themes at all. Smart Chicolina is just way too of a Western looking horse, I feel like, to fit this theme very well. And Smarty Jones, I just kind of don't feel like he really fits the theme very well either. On the 10th page here, I have a couple more molds that I think are strong possibilities. I did not mark Goffert or Spirit as top possibilities. Goffert because I just feel like he doesn't really fit the theme very well. I mean, he's still possible, it's not like a total elimination, but I kind of don't feel like that's the mold they'd be using for this year's theme. And the same kind of goes for Spirit. I know I said that I think Rain's a good possibility, but I just feel like Rain has a better Bollywood look to her that the Spirit mold does not have at all. At least that's what I think. But again, he's not completely eliminated. I do think the Gypsy Vanner mold is a possibility. This mold was used as a store special last year. But I think what is actually more likely is not the Gypsy Vanner mold with the big fluffy feet, but the Gypsy Vanner mold that is I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name because I feel like I'm just going to mess it up. But the mold as where he's kind of just the more Spanish looking horse. I think this is maybe a possibility just because they haven't really used this kind of new mold too much. I don't know how well Breyer realizes that this is not necessarily a well-received mold, though. I feel like some people really like him, but a lot of people are not a fan of this mold, so I don't know if they will actually use this as the surprise special run horse this year. And I feel like he's also kind of similar to Esprit, and so maybe they won't do that because he is kind of similar in a sense to the model they just used last year. But I still think he's maybe kind of a possibility. The next model is Strapless, and I think she's a possibility because her mold kind of fits the theme of Bollywood. Just her kind of look and her movement kind of works for Bollywood, I think. She also hasn't really been used as a special run in a little while. I think the last time she was used was a store special in 2015, and then I believe in 2012 was when she was used as Bee's Knees. So she could definitely make a comeback as a special run, I think. She also does seem to be a very well-liked and well-received mold. On the 11th page here, I have actually 3 molds I think are good possibilities. The first one is Huckleberry Bay. Now this is a little bit older mold. Not really though, he's not vintage yet. But I think the Huckleberry Bay mold kind of fits the theme pretty well. I'm not sure exactly how popular he is. I think he's generally liked though. I feel like his breed and his pose really fit the theme nicely, and which is why I think he is a pretty good possibility for being the surprise horse. Another one is Secession. Now the reason I think she's a good possibility is because she's a pretty well-liked mold, and her breed does fit the theme of India, I think. And while her pose might not be that super kind of Bollywood-esque, I think the fact that she's a good breed fit and a well-liked mold makes her a pretty good possibility. The next one is Totalis Tortilla, however you say his name. This mold has been out for how long and I still can't say his name right? But I think this mold is a good possibility because he has the Bollywood-esque to him a lot, maybe not per se the breed, but that strutting dressage pose I feel like is also kind of a cool Bollywood look maybe. I feel like they could put him into a lot of fun colors. They have used this mold a little bit more now, but I feel like they could definitely put a lot more fun colors on him that they have not done yet. On to the 12th page, there are 2 more molds here that I think are pretty good possibilities. The Weather Girl mold I think is a really strong possibility. Now she has been used as a treasure hunt model already, but she is perfect I think for this theme. She fits for the breed, she fits for the pose she has that kind of Bollywood look to her I think, and she is a pretty popular model, so I think she is a really good possibility. Now the Walking Thoroughbred, or also known as Carrick. This mold I feel like could make a nice special run surprise model maybe. I feel like he could somehow fit as being kind of an Indian breed in some way, so I could see him as being the Bollywood surprise model. Now on the last and final page, I actually don't have any more that I think are really strong possibilities. The models like Latigo and Bobby Joe are just ones I feel like they really don't fit the theme in my opinion. They're just kind of a too westerny looking horse in order to really fit well I think with the whole Bollywood theme. Same goes for like Zippo, Pine Bar, and even Wyatt. Alright, so there we go. We went through basically all the molds and I eliminated out as much as I could and also picked out which ones I think are pretty good possibilities. The top 16 molds that I picked are the American Saddlebred, Make-A-Wish, or Just a Dream, whatever you want to call that mold, Ashquire, Pam, or the Proud Arabian Mare, Rain, Ruffian, Creo, or the Connemara Mare, Serlano, the Show-Jumping Warmblood, Strapless, Ladero, I don't even want to say his name, but the Gypsy Vannery one, Secession, Huckleberry Bay, Totalis, Weather Girl, and Carrick. 16 molds is still a lot of possibilities. So I'm going to narrow this list down even further by keeping in mind the theme of this year's BreyerFest, Gateway to India. Last year Breyer kept pretty close to the theme of Brazil by using a Spanish type horse as their surprise horse. So I'm going to assume that it's pretty likely that they'll use a mold that fits into the theme of India or fits into the Bollywood theme, since it is called the Bollywood Surprise. So I narrowed this list down even more, and I brought it down to 7 molds. The top 7 molds I think the surprise horse will be are Make-A-Wish, or It's Just a Dream, Ashquire, Secession, Huckleberry Bay, Strapless, Totalis, and the Weather Girl. I think all 7 of these molds are strong possibilities because they look like they fit the theme. Even though Totalis and Strapless aren't really Indian-looking breeds, I think their flashy poses make them good candidates for the Bollywood theme. If you notice, all the other top molds here are Arabian types. This is kind of just my own personal opinion, but I think they all fit the theme of India really well, and these are all fairly popular and newer molds, Huck here being the oldest. I think all 6 of these molds are pretty likely, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to narrow it down even further into my top 3 picks. The top 3 molds that I think are the most possible for this year's BreyerFest Surprise Special Run Horse are Weather Girl, Ashquire, and Make-A-Wish. Yes, I know, the Make-A-Wish mold was used last year as a special run, but because of this mold's popularity, I really wouldn't be surprised if they brought her back as a surprise model, especially since they can do different tail and head combinations. The Weather Girl mold has been used as a treasure hunt model already in 2011, but aside from that, I feel like this mold is still a good possibility. All 3 of these molds, I think, fit the theme of both India and flashy Bollywood essence, and they are all really well liked and popular molds. But of course, I can't stop there, for I'm going to have to give my number 1 top guess. And my top guess is Ashquire. Boy, I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. Ashquire is my top pick because of several reasons. His breed fits the Indian theme. His pose is flashy and dancey and just has that Bollywood feel to it. He is a fairly well-liked mold. I know he's not loved by everyone, but I feel like he's pretty well received. And he also hasn't really been used a whole lot. While Ashquire was used in 2015 as a special run model, and last year as a collector club model, he hasn't been used as a regular run yet. The closest thing he got to being a regular run was a flagship model in 2014. So there you have it. There's my predictions for the BreyerFest 2017 Gambler's Choice Special Run Bollywood Surprise. Now we just have to wait and find out what the model is on July 14th, 2017, when the first surprise horse is opened up after the special run line. And I'm very sad that I won't be able to be there at BreyerFest on that day to take part in all the excitement of opening up the surprise horses. But anyway, I'm gonna wipe away my BreyerFest tears because I want to ask you guys an important question. What mold do you think the surprise horse will be? Comment your thoughts down below. Ashquire was just my top guess, but I think there are a lot of other mold possibilities. I enjoy reading everyone else's thoughts and ideas about the surprise model, so please feel free to comment on this video and tell me what you think. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and to those of you going to BreyerFest, I hope you have a wonderful trip to BreyerFest in Kentucky, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone!